Hello, my name is Andrew Norton. I am currently a package handler for the United Parcel Service. In this presentation, we are going to take a look at the current state of diversity and inclusion at UPS and what steps we can take to improve our D&I position. Since UPS is such a large company, we will try and focus on package handlers and their relationship with management in particular. Let's get started. First, we're going to take a look at UPS's diversity and inclusion statement that can be found on their sustainability website. As you can see, the company appears to have quite a bit to say about diversity. In my opinion, the biggest flaw in the statement is that it is too long-winded. The strongest portion of this statement is the last bullet point. I would suggest the company trim down the statement to create a more memorable, powerful statement. The importance of diversity at UPS is paramount. Per Fortune, the 111-year-old company is the number 41 Fortune 500 company in the world. The company claims over 400,000 yearly employees. A company of this scale must rely on efficiency to maintain operation. As an employee, I can personally vouch that the amount of teamwork involved in the logistics process is extremely high. As one might guess, inclusion is vital to team chemistry. Along the same lines, diversity and inclusion contributes to the satisfaction of employees. When employees are happy, there is less turnover. As I mentioned before, I am going to focus on our package handlers to try and narrow the focus of this presentation. Package handlers make up the majority of UPS employees. Their roles include package delivery drivers, freight loaders, unloaders, package sorters, and preloaders. These jobs make up the bulk of non-management operations at UPS. When we look at some of the demographics of our operations employees, we see strong representation of Black and Hispanic workers, but very low representation of women at just 14%. However, upon further inspection, the representation of our Black and Hispanic laborers sees a drop in senior and middle management, as well as in the governing bodies of the organization. On the other hand, women are better represented in management and governance positions than they are in labor positions. However, female representation at all levels other than administrative work is still low. Unfortunately, there is no information from UPS about employees who identify with the LGBTQ community. Now that we've seen some of the shortcomings of the company's demographics, we're going to look at some of the obstacles to overcome these issues. First, unconscious bias. Then, we have the perceived masculinity of labor jobs. As previously stated, women make up just 14% of the non-management jobs at UPS. As Susan Shira of the New York Times reported in 2018, many academics believe that the perceived masculinity in labor jobs creates barriers and hardships for women in the same fields. And lastly, a contentious relationship between a union and corporation can hinder advancement of D&I initiatives. Where we can improve. We are now going to take a look at some possible solutions to the obstacles previously addressed. As we saw previously, there's a disparity between the percentage of Black and Hispanic employees we have in non-management and management positions. We need to set a goal to narrow this disparity. Next, we need to infuse our diversity and inclusion initiatives into our everyday operations. As Marjorie Durbin states, infusing D&I initiatives into everyday operations and avoiding segregating D&I from other organizational procedures helps D&I initiatives maintain traction within organizations. And lastly, we need to be transparent with more detailed D&I information. Let's expound on how we can infuse D&I into our operations. First, we cannot treat D&I as an isolated initiative. It must be integrated with many of our operational procedures. In my experience, UPS laborers have no D&I after our initial onboarding process. What we need to do is emphasize D&I throughout the entire employee lifecycle. This includes recruiting, hiring, onboarding, training development, performance, succession, and the exit process. Integrating D&I also includes tabbing underrepresented employees for management roles. Another way we can help gauge and measure our D&I success is to conduct employee satisfaction surveys. Several times I have stressed the importance of empowering underrepresented employees. Here are a few ways we can do that. First, we can expand our current Women in Leadership mentoring program to include more underrepresented employees. Next, we need to strategize a targeted recruitment for women in our labor jobs. And lastly, we must reduce the demographic differences between management and non-management. As you can see, we at the United Parcel Service have several areas to address in our diversity and inclusion initiatives. With that being said, I believe we can set attainable goals to accomplish a more inclusive organization. As one of the largest employers in the United States, we can help establish a standard for diversity and inclusion in the workforce.